last week's episode. Hi everyone, I'm Cedrine here at Happy Cool and welcome to a new Outlander review. This week's episode was called Lallybroch. Let's talk about it. First, some quick thoughts. The two dogs lying down next to the fire at the end of the opening was so cute. I was like, oh, doggies. It was such a beautiful landscape as Jamie and Claire were riding towards Lallybroch. I was like, holy crap, that is pretty. You want to go. Also really enjoyed the little moments of Claire talking about what it's like to fly, and also when she talks about elephants and he's like, you've actually seen an elephant? It was nice to see that they do include a little of her knowledge from the future in some of their discussions, but not too much yet. Moving on to the flashbacks. I really enjoyed that the flashback this time were desaturated except for the red, which felt really menacing and bloody and just exactly what the redcoats represent for Jamie. And we found out what happened between Blackjack and Jenny, which wasn't as bad as Jamie thought it was. Although technically she did pass out, so we don't really know what happened during that time, but I think we can assume that Blackjack just left. And we also found out a little more about Blackjack and what he offered Jamie. Twist! Did not see that coming. And at the same time, I'm like, no wonder you're frustrated. You're in a world where you can't really be who you are. I thought it was an interesting element that definitely shines a new light on Blackjack and who he is and how he feels and all of that. I don't think any of that excuses what he's done, but gives more dimension to the character, and that's always a good thing. And we finally get to Lallybroch, and fundamentally the episode was really all about introducing us to that world and the people there and Jamie's sister. So let's talk about some of the things that we found out and that I enjoyed. I love that right off the bat, Jamie's first interaction with his sister is kind of accusing her of something that's not really true and almost leaving. It's like, great to see you. I haven't seen you in 4 years. How dare you? And of course, once again, Claire is just being Claire, but it's not appropriate for the time. So Jamie has to tell her not to do it. But I feel like, especially now that he knows she's from the future, he should be a little more understanding that she might not understand what's okay to do and what's not okay to do. So maybe he should teach her a little bit. I love that Claire came to the rescue of that kid. She's just, you know, who she is. She just has to step in and say something, and I love that the kid is now living there with them. The redcoats arriving unexpected. That's always very stressful because you never know with Outlander at which point Jamie or Claire is going to be captured. It could happen at any point. I was like, already he's gonna get captured? But no, thankfully. It did lead to a great moment between Jenny and Jamie because she realized what he had gone through and she feels very responsible, and he's like, you're not responsible, and it's like hugs, love. I think they've definitely gotten past the 4 years that they've been apart and they're ready to work together. So I can't wait to see them run the place together. I actually quite like Jenny. She's a pretty strong-minded woman, and it's no wonder that Jamie likes Claire because he was raised with a sister that had very strong opinion too, so he's not afraid of them. Of course, there was a swoon moment when Jamie confesses to Claire when he first fell in love with her, why he wanted to marry her, and I was like, oh, my swoon moment. Of course, it was sweet and I loved it. And of course, after a pretty quiet episode, we have to end the episode on a cliffhanger. Damn you, Outlander! I mean, of course we know Jamie's gonna get out of the whole situation somehow, but we just don't know how and how bad it's gonna be. As I said, a pretty quiet episode compared to last week's episode, to say the least. I think they're just sort of introducing us to this new place that they're living, to the new people, before we're probably gonna get trouble, which we're already sort of getting trouble at the end of the episode. So yeah. And that's all I have for you this week. But of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you enjoy the introduction to Lallybroch? Were you hoping for a little more excitement after last week's episode? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my Outlander reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye. I have to admit that what I really want them to address is what Claire thinks of Gillis being from the future, because we heard a little bit of her realizing that she was from the future, but not really what she thinks of it or what it means, and you know, so I don't know. I just want something that talks about that, or I don't know.